Hey, what's up, BookTube? My name is Juan from Just One Reader. I hope you're having a lovely time, and I'm here to do a really huge major book haul, and I'm talking like huge book haul. Not just regular huge, but like huge book haul. Because I went to Chicago last week, and when I go to visit the US, I usually go crazy. I usually save up a lot of money to have a really great book shopping budget, and I did, and I went crazy. So I acquired a total of 47 books, I believe, which is a lot. And I thought I'm never going to be able to show all of them in just one book haul video. There's no way anyone is going to watch a video in which I talk about 47 books. So I'm going to split it into different sort of categories or sections. I'm not really sure if this is going to work out, but you guys let me know if you like this type of categories. So I tried to break them up into genres. I apologize in advance if the genres are not actually correct. I just assume these are the genres of the book. So today I'm going to do literary fiction in this video, and then the next videos are going to be, there's going to be one of short story collections, there's going to be one of like fantasy, thriller, mystery, adventure, which includes a lot of Chuck Palahniuk. There's going to be another one of probably like middle grade-ish, fantasy-ish, you know what I mean? There's going to be one of nonfiction, and we'll just see what else pops up in there. Okay, so let's do literary fiction in this video. Many of these books I got from Barnes & Noble in Chicago. They had two great Barnes & Noble locations that I went to, and I went crazy. And then I discovered two independent bookstores in Chicago. One of them was called, well, it's called St. Meyer's Bookstore in Chicago. And I got about 5 or 6 books there, which I couldn't have found elsewhere, and that was great. And then, just on my last day in Chicago, I found probably the greatest independent bookstore I've ever been to in my life, apart from the Strand in New York City, and it was called Open Books. So if you've ever been to Chicago or you're planning to go there, you need to go to Open Books. It's great. It's a great little place. I'm not going to rant a lot about it, but I just loved it. It was so cheap. It's a non-profitable bookstore. They sell used second editions, really old editions. They have some amazing gems, okay? So, the first book that I have, I actually got from Open Books, and it's a super old, battered, destroyed, ancient copy of In True Blood by Truman Capote. I've never read it, but I saw this edition, and it was like $4. It's amazing. I'm so looking forward to reading this. I also got The House at the Edge of Night by Catherine Banner. This was recommended by a couple of booktubers that hauled it, and it seems kind of magical realism, family saga. The cover is just spectacular. I got this at Barnes & Noble. Then this one I also got from Barnes & Noble, and it's The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. I've been sort of ish about reading the Neapolitan novels. I don't think I'm going to enjoy them. So before I start with the Neapolitan novels, I'm going to try her writing style in The Days of Abandonment, which is also it seems really interesting, and it's super short. I also got Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This is a classic. I don't really know what it's about, but I've seen a lot of really great booktubers talk about it, and I feel like I need to read more of that sort of classical literature. Then this one is, can you see it? There. What's up with the lighting? Well, it's The Crane's Dance. There. It's The Crane's Dance by Meg Howry. This was recommended by Mercedes. Mercedes is a booktuber that I follow and obey, and I would follow her to the pits of mortar. She just has a great taste, and usually her recommendations are pretty just right there. So this is one that she really enjoyed, and I saw it and I was like, yes, yes, I have it. Okay, this one is another one that Mercedes recommended, and also I think it was Amanda Center and Acacia Ives, which are like, you know, the holy trinity of female booktubers. This is Bastard Out of Carolina by Dorothy Allison. They didn't have the beautiful English edition that those booktubers have. They had this one, which is not that pretty, but, you know, you do what you can. Then I got some John Irving because I've seen some people talk about him, and they had several John Irving novels, and I wasn't really sure where to start, if I should go with the Cider House Rules, or A Prayer for Owen Meany, or the new one, Avenue of Mysteries. There were just so many, and I honestly don't know anything about him. So I picked up the most beautiful edition, which was A Prayer for Owen Meany. If you have any information or any comments on John Irving or this novel in particular, please leave it in the comments down below. Then also at Open Books, I found this ridiculously beautiful old copy of Disgrace. Again, another one there. Disgrace by J.M. Coetzee. This is the winner of the 1999 Booker Prize. And I just know it's really amazing and really important. It's quite short, it seems very literary. It's a really dingy, battered copy, and inside there is actually a note from the previous, or one of the previous owners of the book, and it's a letter in which the owner of this book, who was called Ruth Belzer apparently, gave this book away to a friend who had had surgery, and this book was supposed to give him a lot of hope. And yeah, I just honestly I just want to keep this here because it makes the book feel so much more meaningful, and with, you know, like it came to me with a history, and that just seems like amazing. I love it when independent bookstores have that, which is not something that you can ever find at, let's say, a Barnes & Noble. Then I got American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. The amazing people of Stripped Cover Lit always talk, well, not always, but they usually talk about this book like it were some sort of Bible. So I saw it and I couldn't not pick it up. It's not the sort of book that I would normally pick up, but then the same thing happened with Fight Club, and so I need to pay more attention to those kinds of feelings, like when I am not really sure if I should pick this book, but it's been really recommended and I sort of have a weird intuition, I should listen to it, so I got this one. Then I got some Ann Patchett because I've never read Ann Patchett before, and again, the same as with John Irving, they had a lot of her books, and I just went with not just the most beautiful edition, which is Bel Canto, but it's also the one that appeals the most to me because Bel Canto features some opera-related things, like an opera singer, and the title itself is Bel Canto, and I was an opera singer myself for a couple of years. I studied some opera and some bel canto, and I enjoy opera like no one else, so I just couldn't resist. Then I got White Oleander by Janet Fitch. This is another one that apparently I have been missing out on for the longest time, and now I have it. It's actually quite longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be like your typical 200, 300 novel, and it's actually almost 500, which I don't have a problem with, you know. The Goldfinch was over 1,000 pages long, and it was like a scrumptious cake that you never want to finish. So I hope I get the same feeling with this one. And I have three more for today's video. The first one is Night by Elie Wiesel, which I've seen also in Stripped Coverlet's videos and in some other booktubers. And this is like a memoirish kind of novel, autobiographical about Elie Wiesel, and this has something to do with Auschwitz and the Second World War, and it's really short and it's supposed to like pack a punch. The other one I got is The Rehearsal by Eleanor Catton. The Rehearsal is a book that seems really interesting. It takes place in a boarding school, and of course it's the rehearsal, so it builds up, or it takes a lot of elements from theater and stuff like that. So I'm really interested in all those topics. And she wrote The Luminaries, which won the Man Booker a couple of years ago, and I haven't read The Luminaries. It's sort of my most intimidating book at the moment on my TBR, but I really want to, and I'm not sure if I'm going to read this one first or The Luminaries, but either way, I feel like you can't go wrong. Okay, and the last book that I got in the literary fiction, again, I apologize if I'm just talking bullshit and I have no idea what I'm saying, is Did You Ever Have a Family by Bill Clegg. This is supposedly some sort of really poignant family drama, family story about grief and death. And it says right here on the very first sentence of the synopsis, on the eve of her daughter's wedding, June Reed's life is upended when a tragedy leaves her alone and directionless. So it's about some really heavy stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it. I remember that it was Max from Weldon Books who read this, and he made a review on it, and I really wanted to pick it up, so now I finally have it. Okay guys, so that was my book haul Chicago version in the category of literary fiction. Stay tuned because next I will post short story collections.